What is up, everybody? You are checking out the Uncensored Pro Wrestling Podcast. I'm your host, the Hot Commodity C, and today you're checking out our Attitude Year Season 3 series recap. You can check out Season 1 and Season 2 in the archives. We have just completed watching WrestleMania 2000, and we're on the road to Backlash. And we're continuing our coverage of WWF SmackDown from April 6, 2000, live in San Jose, California, and Shane McMahon is seeing the parking lot. He's on the phone asking when they're coming. Shane's by himself, and I think he wants Vince there. We did see on Raw The Rock pin Triple H, who wasn't involved in the match, and The Rock was seen holding the title to end Raw. First up, we have Intercontinental Champion Chris Benoit defending against Rikishi. Rikishi lands a cutter, a super kick, but then Chris Benoit lands a bridging belly to belly suplex, and Chris Benoit gets a bridging German suplex, and Chris Benoit retains the Intercontinental Championship here. After Rikishi lands a Samoan drop, he then gives Chris Benoit the stink face and then a bonsai drop. So Rikishi didn't win the title, but he did leave looking like the winner. We then have Vince and Shane McMahon come out to the ring. Vince says, "Let me put an end to the nasty rumors that DX will not be here. Indeed, DX will be here tonight. They're actually at an autograph signing right now." He says the inmates were running the asylum on Raw. The Rock was frustrated that he couldn't beat Shane one on one and took it out on someone else he couldn't beat one on one, Triple H. The Rock soiled the WWF title as he held it above his head. Earl Hebner, come in here right now. And Earl Hebner comes down. Earl was the referee that counted the pinfall. Vince says, "Can you offer a plausible explanation of why you counted to three?" And Earl says, "Because The Rock told me to." And then Vince says, "You impugn the reputations of officials. If you do it again, I will knock you on your ass." And then Vince calls Lillian Garcia to the ring. Vince says, "I understand you're not a bad singer. Why don't you assume it's just you and me? Sing me a little song. Sing me, Do You Know the Way to San Jose?" And Lillian does sing it. And Vince says, "I just proved that pretty women with a little talent are a dime a dozen and can be replaced. If you make a mistake again, you'll be singing the blues." And then it says, "The Rock is not WWF champion. Jim Ross question, are the balls of mine? My balls are the size of grapefruits. Shane's are the size of pomegranates. And tonight, Shane and I will team up against The Rock in a handicap match." So Vince is trying to screw everyone over that could have helped The Rock win last week, and he's just throwing his weight around. I am interested to see that Vince actually wants to fight The Rock, but we'll see what happens. Next up, we have the Dudley Boyz taking on TNA with Trish Stratus. Tess lands a jackhammer slam to Devon. Bubba lands a clothesline to Albert, and Devon and Bubba land the "What's Up" head drop to Albert. And then Albert hits a two-handed choke slam. Tess lands a flying elbow drop, but Devon breaks it up. And then the Dudleys hit a 3D to Tess, and the Dudley Boyz get the win. After Bubba grabs Trish Stratus, but Albert attacks Devon, and then the Hardys come in and attack the Dudley Boyz. So it looked like Bubba was going to put Trish through a table, but with help from Albert and the Hardys, Bubba was unsuccessful to do so. Next up, we have Tazz taking on Perry Saturn, and this match gets thrown out quickly after they fight by the stage, and the match isn't even made official. It's just these two guys brawling here. We get a promo from The Rock backstage. We then see the DX Express arriving to the arena, and we have Snow and Steve Blackman taking on Big Boss Man and Bull Buchanan up next. Big Boss Man slams Al Snow, and then Bull Buchanan lands a flying leg drop, and Al and Bull get the win after Steve Blackman attacks Bull Buchanan, the Big Boss Man. So even though Bull and Boss Man got the win, Steve Blackman got the last laugh here. WWF European Champion Eddie Guerrero and Chyna arrive in a lowrider and come down to the ring. Eddie has roses for Chyna, and he says, "Mamacita, I've been wanting to know why you did what you did on Raw." Chyna says, "I couldn't resist your Latino heat." And then Eddie grabs onto Chyna's leg here. Chyna says, "Chris Jericho is poor and insecure little, and I mean little. He was always intimidated that a woman could steal his glory, and I did." Eddie says, "You truly are the ninth wonder of the world. My ancestors are proud of me." And then Chris Jericho runs out and attacks both Chyna and Eddie. He lands a power bomb to Eddie, and it looks like Jericho wants the European Championship back from Eddie Guerrero. DX confronts Shane and Vince. They all want to fight The Rock, but Vince says no. Stephanie is then able to convince Vince to let the Road Dogg and X-Pac fight The Rock later on tonight instead of himself and Shane. Next, we have WWF Light Heavyweight Champion Dean Malenko defending against Taka Michinoku. Dean gets the win after landing a super gutbuster and a Texas Cloverleaf. Decent action here, but Dean Malenko retains the title. Next up, we have the Godfather with the host taking on the Big Show. However, the Big Show comes out dressed up like the Godfather. He's got a little fedora and the little feathers around his neck. He calls himself the Big Pimp. Big Show cracks the cane over the Godfather from behind to get the victory, and then Big Show makes out with a hoe. So Big Show is definitely leaning into this whole Hollywood angle. We'll see where it takes us. Next up, we have Tag Team Champions Edge and Christian defending against Kurt Angle. He finally found a partner in Hardcore Holly. Decent tag match here. The end comes after Edge and Christian toss Kurt Angle into the ring post, and they land a double suplex of Hardcore Holly, and Edge and Christian retain the titles. After Kurt Angle tells Hardcore Holly he should have picked Mae Young instead, Holly attacks Angle and lands a sit-out jackhammer, and Angle is obviously not going to be happy about this. Next up, Shane McMahon comes out. He is the guest announcer for the match, and he announces that the guest referee is WWF Champion Triple H, who comes out with WWF Women's Champion Stephanie McMahon Helmsley. So we have the handicap match, DX Satori against The Rock. Rock tosses Road Dogg into Triple H, lands a rock bottom. Earl Hebner runs down, but Vince pulls out Earl to stop the count. Rock chases Vince McMahon to the stage and punches Vince, and then Rock grabs a steel chair and lays out Vince McMahon right across the face with a steel chair, getting revenge for what Vince did to him at WrestleMania. Clearly, Vince in the McMahon Helmsley era in the McMahon Helmsley family is not going to be happy about this. The Rock keeps on being a thorn in their side. We're on the road to Backlash. More stuff's coming your way. So until next time, stay safe and stay uncensored.